every day. Well, journalist and political analyst Caleb Maupin is here live for us to talk more about what has happened. It's a tragic incident, but one many people say is becoming far too familiar. But in the past, when there's been a debate about gun control, it always seems that the pro-gun lobby seems to win through. Do you think that this will be any different?
Well, I think U.S. media often portrays kind of a false image of U.S. society, and a lot of people around the world are led to believe that the U.S. is some kind of paradise in which the streets are paved with iPods and everyone lives in prosperity. But for a few moments on live television, people today saw what the United States is really like. This is a society dripping with fear, dripping with violence, and people walk around really upset and afraid of each other, and there's a lot of insecurity. Now, of course, there's going to be a debate about gun control following this, but the issue is obviously something deeper than that, because there are many countries around the world where people are heavily armed, but they don't feel a need to kill each other, and there aren't these kind of mass shootings that we see routinely happening here in the United States. The problem is much deeper than simply access to weapons.
Caleb, do you think the unusual and also very graphic nature of this killing will alter the debate at all?
Oh, well, absolutely. You know, there have been many cases of unemployed people who've recently lost their jobs, returning to the place they previously worked and killing people. And from what I understand, the shooter in this instance was a former employee. And this really strikes at the heart of something, which is for millions of people in the United States, for the overwhelming majority, their very existence is precarious. They can only survive as long as they're working, and they can only work so long as someone hires them and makes a profit from their labor. And when you don't have a job, it's very difficult to survive. And people live in fear of becoming unemployed, having to rely on food stamps if they can get it. And this is a reality. Back in the administration of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when there was a crisis of unemployment, the response of the government was to hire the unemployed into the Works Progress Administration and put them to work doing useful work. But in the current time, we don't see that. There is a crisis of unemployment, even though the media talks about a so-called recovery. There are millions of people who've been cast out as useless and live in fear. And we see repeated instances. Here in Manhattan, there was someone who went into the Home Depot after they lost their job and shot someone. There was another instance where someone who worked in an office near the Empire State Building walked in and shot someone. And here in New York City, we have the heaviest gun laws of any part of the country. You can't even have a hunting rifle here without a permit, and that permit is almost impossible to get. So, I mean, the issue is far deeper. The issue is the alienation and the real insanity of U.S. society, a society where millions of people sleep on the streets every night, even though we're supposedly the richest country in the world. And most of those people are veterans, people who fought in the military, and now when they return, they can't even get a place to sleep. Sure. U.S. society is extremely unhealthy, and it's not something that people around the world should be aspiring to. People around the world shouldn't be aspiring to recreate the United
Caleb,
States in their country by any means.
Just to bring this back to actual gun control and the issue there, the White House has actually said it will redouble its call for tougher gun laws. I mean, given that, and as I said, the graphic nature of this killing, and it was live on television also, do you hold out any hope that things could change and we will see a change in gun law?
As long as we have a society where people's only value is how much they're worth financially, where human beings are reduced to a financial calculation, as long as we have that, we're going to be riddled with violence, whether or not people have access to weapons. And, you know, a lot of the people doing the mass shootings and killing people, a lot of them are police officers who are not going to be disarmed no matter what the gun control laws are. I don't think the proper response to this is the need for gun control. That's really not addressing the underlying issue, which is that human life doesn't seem to matter in the United States of America in 2015.
OK, we have to leave it there, but thanks very much for your thoughts on this. That was Caleb Maupin, a journalist and also a political analyst from the States. Thank you.